Talking Points memo this evening is President Trump, the activist. So he's a very different kind of president. Everybody knows that, but they don't know really why. So you got to go back to Teddy Roosevelt in the early 20th century. Roosevelt had a vision of the country. All right, we should be robust. We should be patriotic. I have a letter written by Teddy Roosevelt that says no more German American, Irish American. We're all Americans. Okay. He was very, very centralized in his view of the country. And he was also outraged by the robber barons, the very wealthy people like Morgan and Rockefeller and Carnegie, who were scooping up billions of dollars while workers died. That is in confronting evil, Teddy Roosevelt's fight against the robber barons. So Roosevelt was a very activist president, and he was a populist just like Trump. Not really a Republican. He called himself a progressive. That word meant far different back then than it means now. But Roosevelt wanted vast change. Trump is in the same category. I don't even know if the president understands how similar he is in style to Teddy Roosevelt. He harkens back to Andrew Jackson, Donald Trump, and there is a lot of similarities there. I wrote a column last week on Alexander Hamilton being Trump is his reincarnation. So this isn't new, but it's stunning because it hasn't happened in so long. In modern times, after World War II, we haven't had any activist president. None. Reagan wasn't an activist. He wanted certain things, but he wasn't trying to redesign the whole system. Trump is. That's very important for you and every American to understand. He wants to redesign the country, the strong power center in Washington, D.C. So tariffs are number one. So Donald Trump in his first 4 years did very well in the economy. And people's wages rose, as you know, particularly Black Americans. But we were still paying out billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries. And Trump was seething because he said, this isn't fair. We're the big dog consumer. Why are we paying money to Luxembourg? Okay, so he stopped it by the tariffs. Because I'll even it out, they'll have to pay us to get their products sold in America. That's what that is all about. He did it because he wants more manufacturing jobs, making more stuff here rather than hotel jobs, fast food jobs, Uber jobs. He wants the higher paying jobs, and he believes that's the way to elevate the middle class. And if it works, okay, that will happen. But we don't know if it's going to work. And of course, Trump's opposition doesn't want any change at all. None. And that includes some Republicans. They want to keep it the way it is. I don't like the way it is. I would rather have more high-paying, skilled jobs in America. And if you've got to threaten companies abroad to get them back here, it's okay with me. But Trump's opposition hates that. They hate the tariffs. It's another lawsuit. I'll get to it in a moment. Why? It may work big time for America. Now, we are an impatient people. So Trump's got about 6 more months to see if prices go down and wages goes up and more jobs are plentiful. Okay? That's it. And February, March of next year, if the American consumer is suffering, then the Democrats have a very good chance to take at least one house in the midterms. Trump knows that, but he's gambling. And the other presidents would never have done it, ever. Cold and flu season coming on up. We all know it. And it really is nothing to take lightly. So when people start getting sick all across the country, medications disappear. Everybody wants it at the same time. So it's very, very smart to have a pharmacy you can count on, like All Family Pharmacy. Right now, they're helping Americans get ahead of the curve with 10% off antibiotics, antivirals, other essentials. You know how important it is to have the right meds when you get sick, particularly when your kids get sick. You don't want to be going into the doctor's office, spending all the time. You want to have them at your home. So if you have a few months' supply, you don't have to worry. And that's what we're doing here. If you believe in medical freedom, okay, and taking care of your family, as I do, this is the pharmacy for you. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10%. The other activist is public safety. So Donald Trump has disdain for liberal governance. DISDAIN, disdain. He believes they're weak. He believes they don't care about public safety. He believes that the poor are getting murdered literally, and nobody's doing anything about it. So he will. But then he gets into the balance of power. So the states were designed to run themselves. But what happens if a state won't run itself, won't protect its own people, like Illinois and Chicago, like Louisiana and New Orleans, like LA and California? These places do not protect their citizenry. New York City does not even punish violent criminals. You can hurt another human being in the city, and I'll prove it to you later on, and you just walk free. I mean, that's anarchy. Trump has vowed to change it. That's a popular issue for him. The MAGA people like that issue. MAGA people on the tariffs, they're not quite sure. This one, about 98% are with him. Okay, overseas, Donald Trump wants to make deals. The problem is that he's dealing with a madman, Vladimir Putin. Now, China is exploiting that. You saw it this week, and we'll get to that today. China's exploiting Putin's madness by basically sending a signal, we're going to help Putin in Ukraine and other places. We're going to help him wreak destruction. That is really a tough one for Donald Trump. I'm deeply involved with that, as you know. Very hard when you're dealing with a totally out there person who doesn't care about life and death, as long as he's not going to be killed. Okay, so you can see that all of this is on one man's desk in the Oval Office. Whew. It's a very tough time in U.S. history. And nobody knows, and I mean that nobody knows, how this is going to end. And that's the memo.